Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Nicholas Zart, and I'm signing in for Car News Cafe. We always hear about barn finds and barn stories. This one is pretty amazing. Old French cars, Alpine Renaults everywhere, old BMWs, and guess what? Right there, right under the rain, cars. This is absolutely fantastic, and this is an amazing collection. Well, I wouldn't say really amazing. It's actually a really rotten collection. Okay guys, start crying. This is really gonna be painful. Ready? This is a pretty rare Alpine Renault A110 convertible. I had planned a beautiful classical back in G-string, air and G-string for this moment, but YouTube didn't seem to like the fact that I was using this very old music, so it forbade me. So instead I'll be talking over this, but there you go. This Alpine Renault A110 convertible was right there. And this is the famous Alpine Renault, the A210, the 210, that won at Le Mans in 1966 for the efficiency race. What was amazing about it was it was just there. It wasn't stored, it wasn't put away, it was just, I guess, put away. Also, you might be able to see the garage beams. They were added on because the garage was basically falling on top of the car. But notice the laurel leaves still on the top of the car, and that was really fantastic. And right here, Francoise Sagan's AC Bristol. The story goes that she drove it once from Paris to Switzerland to catch up with a train. So really interesting. But I'll let you see this without music. So there you go, and now we're with my best friend here. Our best friends, the Bindas here, who are great collectors and know a heck of a lot of everything. And thank you, Monique, for inviting me here. What do you think of this? What do you think of everything here? Is it crazy?
It's crazy, but I'm not surprised because when I started with my husband 55 years ago, place like this, we went in for very, very often, you know. And I was the feet in the mud for hours.
Yeah, and virtually speaking of feet, mud in hours, look at what we're wearing. We have to wear this. It is mud field here. And as I'm talking, I'm noticing a gorgeous little Alpine in front of us, an A110. You can only see half of it. Knickknacks, stuff, and things as far as the eye can see, strewn around everywhere. It was the kind of place where you would scoop up a little earth and dirt and soil and you'd find some treasure. Incredible. It's just insane. I mean, you can see, right? It's crazy. It's heaven. I'm in a candy store. Huh. I mean, look. Alfa Romeo 2 liters or something like that. Old, and there they are. Now this is really sad. This is actually a pretty sad view. You're going to see a bunch of Alpine Renaults, including a very early Alpine Renault here, and in a shape that's going to turn your stomach upside down. And this Alpine Renault 110 in this color has always been my car. I always wanted to have one. Of course, these days they're extremely expensive. We can still find some in Mexico, but the quality of the build, specifically the quality of the paint, was nothing like the French-built ones. It was sad to see all of them just like that, cut away, resting. And it's a plexiglass, right? So it's not really resting, but everything inside was resting. It really was surreal. Probably a better word for it is apocalyptic. You can see here the Circuit Paul Ricard, which is one of the local racetracks around here where these cars were tested, and of course other cars. And so here's the surprise, right? We're in the south of France. We're in the middle of nowhere. We're in the middle of mud. But guess what I just found? A Camaro. Why not? Wow! And hey, heck, why not? A pink 500, a Fiat 500, right? And that one's actually really pretty. Very Alfa Romeo, the clovers growing on the next to the C-pillar of this Peugeot 504 coupe. And of course, as far as the eye can see, trucks and cars, including this very beautiful little Lancia with an engine next to it, not a matching engine, unfortunately, and of course, motorcycles everywhere. And not just old motorcycles, modern motorcycles, blown engines, you name it, it was just there for spare parts. And of course, a lot of them were rotten and rusted to the core, which of course is a good thing because at least you know what you're starting with and you're dealing with. However, some of these motorcycles are very, very old, turn of the last century. Spare parts are not going to be easy to find. And of course, engines everywhere. Alfa Romeo engines right here, early series, BMW engines, and somewhere in there, believe it or not, a Lamborghini Miura S V12 kind of almost stripped apart. You see the BMW engine right here, bunch of Citroen CX's engines. You can see the fan there, very distinctive, and geez, just a bunch of stuff. And you can see more here. Citroen Dians, of course, a Renault 12 Gordini, which is pretty rare these days. There was also another Renault 5 Gordini next to it. You can kind of see it right here. There you go, where that gentleman is walking. And next to it, you can only see here the nose of a Trans Am. Here we go, an Alpine A108, which was the predecessor to the A110. They're not super valuable, but they're great cars to collect because it was just such a different era. Plexiglass body, small little engine behind, you know, sort of the French Porsche 911, I guess you could say, or in this case, 356. Hey guys, how are you? So what do you think of all this? What's going on here?
Just here to have a look around. We live in France, not far away, so just come along to
you do?
have a look and possibly bid on some cars tomorrow.
Yeah? So what...
For a hobby.
Yeah, definitely a hobby. What caught your attention so far?
Well, viability-wise, I mean, I'm not a millionaire, so
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff here which will make some big money. That's quite interesting.
That's interesting.
How rusty it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of a 5 lot of Fiat 500s.
Yeah.
Might be interesting.
Even the Montreal seems, it's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. I mean, there's an Elan S2 convertible.
Yeah.
That's going to make big money.
Yeah, I saw the Alpines are pretty. That's pretty
Alpines
amazing.
make,
That's actually shocking, even.
The estimates, I think you can 5 times and 10 times.
Yeah. Well, my parents had an Ondine and a Dauphine, so that was it. That was pretty amazing. I can't remember what this is. It looks like some sort of European Ford, and of course an Alfa Romeo Giulietta. Very sad, and a Renault happily rusting away next to more Renaults, Peugeots. It's really hard. You see the front hood of a De Chevaux BMW, a cute little 405 or 404 coupe from Peugeot, and little Otto Bianchini right there, and absolutely amazing shots of lichens and moss growing. And of course, why not? A gremlin in the middle of it all. It was really surreal. And the engine was still in it. It was a 6-cylinder, no, yeah, straight 6 cylinder as I recall it. I'm not a gremlin expert by any stretch of the imagination. Gremlins next to Alfa Romeo GTVs, next to BMWs, next to another. Yeah, it's surreal, and I hope you can kind of see it behind. Now you can kind of see. You see the Alfa over there, the BMW over here, the Gremlin right here, right here. Seriously, guys, a nice first generation Alfa Romeo GTVs, you know, from the 70s right here. Gorgeous Giugiaro car, and of course, right next to it, why not an old Fiat, right? And I feel this is probably the best view that will give you the most thorough idea of what was there. These cars were melting into the ground and just sort of dying into the background of the foliage. I know this sounds a little romantic, but it was absolutely amazing. Well, now I'm going to have to go find a free back air music I can put to this, and we'll update it later.
En avant.
Excellent. Donc, parlez-nous un peu de ce qui se passe aujourd'hui, surtout pour nos amis américains qui ne vont pas très bien savoir. C'est une collection assez particulière.
Écoutez, il se passe des choses extraordinaires en ce moment dans le monde.
Ah oui.
2 événements majeurs, l'élection de Donald Trump et la vente aux enchères de Gérard Gombert. Écoutez, c'est une collection absolument insensée. Cet homme était en même temps un génie, un passionné d'automobile, mais un marginal total. Comment est-ce que je mis dans mon édito, comment a-t-il pu laisser mourir toutes ces voitures? Mais je pense que parce que tout simplement, il savait qu'elles n'allaient pas mourir. Et que de toute façon, elles sont destinées à revivre, ces voitures.
Tout à fait.
C'est pas un cimetière de voitures. Les voitures qui sont là sont des voitures qui vont être aimées de nouveau par les collectionneurs qui vont les acheter.
Tout à fait.
Elles ne sont pas destinées à aller à la casse. Donc finalement, lui-même avait toujours comme projet de restaurer celle-là. On lui disait, mais vends-moi telle voiture. Il dit, non, on ne va rien vendre parce que je vais la restaurer. Ça fait 30 ans, 40 ans qu'il doit les restaurer, qu'il ne les restaure pas. Alors aujourd'hui, il se passe un phénomène extraordinaire. Il y avait 30 personnes à son enterrement, il va y avoir 3000 personnes à sa vente. Donc ça veut dire qu'on n'est pas grand-chose et que finalement, tous ces objets ne nous appartiennent pas, on n'en est jamais que locataires.
Absolument.
Et tout ça, ça va repartir dans le monde entier, du reste.
Dans le monde entier, oui, absolument.
Il y a des acheteurs du monde entier qui sont venus, notamment des
en l'occurrence.
Tout à l'heure, il y avait des acheteurs pour l'Alpine qui viennent du New Jersey.
Oui, je les ai rencontrés, oui, on en a parlé déjà, oui, tout à fait.
Je pense que c'est assez, c'est un phénomène un peu particulier, parce que trouver toutes ces voitures dans ces états-là, évidemment, ça fait un peu de peine, mais en même temps, ce sont des pépites, et c'est des voitures qui vont revivre et repartir ailleurs.